have to execute those nearly impossible deep court kills to consistently score points, while Dave is able to camp out in that front court and seemingly hit very high percentage kills at will. His opponent's relegated to the deep court, having to shoot in front of Dave. If you can make those shots consistently, you will win, but there's very few, if any, players that can consistently maintain that high percentage of kills from the deep court.
We have Dave Fink in camera's eye view here. Looks like he was attending class at Cambridge University a little bit earlier before getting on the live webcast, but now you are here giving your intelligence to those that are watching at home. This is the men's finals. Dave Chapman versus Nadi Alvarado. Nadi says that they have played over 50 events, and strangely enough, Dave Chapman says that it was maybe closer to 100 that they've played over their career. They've actually been playing for about 20 years now. They both debuted nearly the same time. Nadi a little bit more of a late bloomer than Dave Chapman, but they were the youngest doubles nationals team to win with the United States Handball Association, and they have certainly been pushing each other for many years. I mean, this is kind of probably an argument you absolutely hate to talk about, not even an argument, but without Dave Chapman in the sport of handball, is Nadi Alvarado Jr. one of the best players of our generation?
Well, absolutely. He's one of the best players of our generation with Dave Chapman in the mix. He's won a number of pro stops. He's achieved that #1 ranking, which very few players have held in their career. Nadi, I believe, has lost in 3 or 4 national finals. Dave Chapman beating him in the last national final that he played in 2004. Dave has subsequently played in 2 more national finals, 2010 and also 2009, losing both of those to Paul Brady. Certainly Nadi in this second game, Dave, needs to figure out a serve. Usually it's that power serve that we see him earning a lot of setups from, but some sort of serve that he can step into the next shot and take control of the rally. Dave has not returned all that well here in the first game, Dave, but Nadi's serves haven't been overwhelming either, so Dave hasn't needed to return that well. Nadi has hit a lot of serves that sat up, hit deep into the side walls for relatively easy returns.
You're watching the Jake Plummer Hell of a Handball Bash Part 3 WPH Ektelon Fireball Classic.
2 minutes, gents, 2 minutes.
From Coeur d'Alene, Idaho in the Panhandle, just a couple hours south of Canada and east of Spokane, Washington by about 30 miles, and we're north of Boise, Idaho by a few hours, but we're up here in the Panhandle. Beautiful Lake Coeur d'Alene, Pend Oreille Lake in Sandpoint up north, and we are surrounded by moose, deer, and a whole bunch of wildlife and these tall pines and these evergreens. Absolutely beautiful surroundings that we have here, and it's one of the reasons why the players are drawn to this area. It's so laid back. The players are tremendous, and you know, this is your second trip back to third trip, sorry, Dave, that you've been coming back to these parts. What can you say about the locals and this tournament in general when it comes to those that really want to watch and participate in these games?
This is certainly the best event of the year. The hospitality is incredible. The Plummer family, unbelievable. And certainly the handball players here in the Great Northwest really appreciate this top-level handball and appreciate playing in this amazing event. And you can't be in a nicer area. We're staying right on the lake here, Dave, in Coeur d'Alene. It's beautiful. You don't see this kind of scenery anywhere.
And the interesting thing is the tournament host, Jake Plummer, isn't just standing around signing autographs. He's picking people up at 3 o'clock in the morning from the airport. He's picking up food. He's driving players around. We saw him delivering drinks, Gatorade, to the pro players that were on the court. Everyone is really working hard to make this a big success. Jake Plummer and his family and the new addition, Rock and Roll Out Roland, the 4-month-old baby boy, proud mama and daddy, Colette and Jake Plummer. So very happy to have that new addition in their family, and Steve and Marilyn, dad and mom, and then the Aunt Sue, and all of those that are helping out with this production here, this tournament at the Peak Health and Wellness. Owner Gary really has allowed us to have carte blanche here.
And let's not forget, Dave, the glue that's holding this event together. Ashley Moeller sitting behind the tournament desk. She's somehow able to maintain order here with over 100 players in 5 courts, and she's just been incredible. 7 in the morning until 1 in the morning, working nonstop, also playing in the event.
Resume. Second game, Alvarado serving 0, serving 0.
This is the second game after he lost the first one 21-12. Nate Alvarado serves at 0-0 here.
Hold it.
That was a great serve there from Nate. Didn't capitalize on that fly kill opportunity. You know, I'm surprised, Dave, we haven't seen Nate serving down the right.
Serving 0.
I've always maintained that that serve down the right is his best serve. He's gone exclusively to Dave's left. You know, Dave, you see a lot of top pro players, their best serve is to the right. There's a miss hit from Nate.
Thank you.
Dave does not pick that ball up. You talk about Sean Lenning, Luis Moreno, Dave, also the Mid-American, Tommy Little. All those guys' best serves is straight down that right wall, and I always thought that Nate's was also straight down that right wall, but we haven't seen him use that serve here. The only ace he hit in that first game was down the right. Hasn't gone back to it.
Well, oddly,
serving 0.
Yesterday in the match versus Luis Moreno, he did it a lot, but I think he's more worried about that punch fist that Dave Chapman has that comes back to the deep left.
Side out.
Probably the reason why he doesn't serve over there, but against Luis Moreno yesterday, he actually got a lot of aces to the right side.
0, serving 1.
He only tried it that once in the early part of that first game, and he got a point off of it.
Clearly that serve down the left has been incredibly ineffective.
Point.
Nate changing his mind there. It looked like he thought about shooting the left corner there at the last second. Tried to fist that ball straight down the left.
1.
As you know, Dave, you have to be completely committed to the shot you're hitting. Nate tries to let that ball go through his legs to take it off the back wall, but actually catches his right leg.
2, serving 1.
These players, Dave, competing for this prestigious title here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. The winner will receive a WPH yellow jersey. The yellow jerseys, Dave, awarded to the winner of each WPH Pro Stop.
Chapman thought about it. Likes to let it go to the back wall. That's the shot that Nate was doing yesterday.
Just an incredible shot there from Dave. Nate looks up, but I think that ball is by him. Nate planned himself behind Dave. He was anticipating a cross-court fist there from Dave, and Dave at the last second opened up his shoulders and still had enough control to drive it straight back down the left.
3, serving 1.
You heard the score. It's 3-1. This is the second game if you've just tuned in. Dave Chapman winning the first one 21-12.
Amazing defense there from Dave. When he can't re-kill that ball, Dave, he's able to just flip that ball up high and 2-wall.
Point.
Nate looked a little bit ginger there going down on that knee. Certainly hope that that's not bothering him.
Remember back, he used to wear the knee brace when he didn't have a knee problem.
4, serving 1.
Now that he has a knee problem, he took the knee brace off.
Actually, he wore that knee brace so he could slide on that one knee while he shoots the ball.
I think now he's just saying, I'm not going to go down there and even try it.
That was one of the great shots to watch in handball. We'll see if he brings that back as his knee is closer to 100%. There's a nice shot there from Nate. Takes a little bit off of that ball. That's a good play against Dave to take a little bit off those kills, because those power kills have a tendency to come up. Dave's on the short line, so if that ball is not rolled out and it's hit with all that pace,
4.
Dave's able to just re-kill it. Those softer kills tend to die before the short line.
Side out.
And you see now, over half of Nate's serves are just setups for Dave. He's trying to hit a reverse down this left wall, but the ball's not checking up as much as he'd like, and that ball's bouncing into the left side wall and the back wall. Dave's taking that with his right hand and just
4, serving 1.
doing exactly what he wants with those serves.
Score is 4-1. See how Nate follows that ball around in the back wall.
But Nate's still hesitant to hit that back wall shot. He's made so many mistakes off the back wall. He just sort of opened his hand up there, Dave, and
5, serving 1.
Plays a really safe shot there off the back wall, and Dave just destroys those
Side
safe
out.
shots. That's what we talked about between games, Dave. That's the way Nadi has to win points, is with those shoulder height 35-foot kills with Dave right in front of him. He makes that shot there, but how consistently can you make that shot?
1, serving 5.
Our statistician tells us just 2.5 out of 10. That's 25%. Very
Wow.
difficult to win the match converting 25% of your kills.
Side out.
This is the men's finals, second game. Dave Chapman won the first, 21-12.
5, serving 1.
Score is 5-1. That was a miss hit from Dave Chapman.
Side
Very
out.
rare to see him miss hit the ball with his glove.
As opposed to
Wrist
without
like
his
I do.
glove?
Why? my misses are wrists. Elbow. Pick a body part.
1, serving 5.
One serves 5.
Short.
similar to the first game. Dave taking a 5-0 lead, now leaves
Second.
5-1. Here's a second serve for Nadi. That Z serve not nearly deep enough. That's a nice ceiling shot there from Nadi. There's a big back wall setup. Dave actually fisting that ball into the back wall, Dave. And another, just a
Side
strange
out.
air there from Nadi. We say strange, but it's happened so often, Dave, that it's
5, serving 1.
not strange at this point. It's almost expected.
Hold it. Play it over.
Dave trying to
5, serving 1.
kill that ball into the left corner. That ball was up. You know, Dave, we're right here on the court, right in the first row. Generally, Dave, we're in the closet or some far-off place watching
Hold
these
it.
matches, but really get a great feel of the amazing control of these two top players, Dave. Dave will go to this lob
5,
serve
serving 1.
down the left.
Score is 5-1. But that was the score in the first game when Nadi Alvarado made that.
Made that nice 11-4 run.
That's going to be too hard.
I don't like the position Nadi put himself in after hitting that back wall setup. Just put himself on Dave's left hip and behind him, gave Dave the 60% of the court. All he had to do was
6, serving 1.
drive that ball down the right wall, which he did. Like that return. And Dave still
Point.
great touch there from Dave. Actually, knowing that Nadi's coming across the court, Dave takes enough off of that ball to die that ball before Nadi has a play on it.
7, serving 1.
Score is 7-1. Dave Chapman serving to Nadi Alvarado. Nadi's wife, Carrie, and Marissa, daughter, back home watching this live webcast in Spring Valley Lake, California, as they get
Point.
ready for church.
They'll be watching him
Timeout,
live next
Mr.
week,
First.
Dave, in
1
the
minute.
Nadi Alvarado Classic, the Simple Green U.S. Open. Nadi will have the great support of his family and his entire team there at Los Caballeros. Right now, Dave, he's on his own here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and it's not going his way thus far. He's lost the first game 21-12, now trails 8-1 in this second game. Dave Chapman seems to be just about 10 or 15 minutes from taking yet another WPH Pro Stop Championship.
Well, the WPH was, or has become, a real good friend of Dave Chapman's. We actually have his routing number and his account number, and we just let it automatically draft out of our account into his every time we do a tournament. Seems like lately he's winning a lot of WPH events. He has a collection of those yellow jerseys. You're here watching this live webcast courtesy of the World Players of Handball, Peak Health and Wellness. It's the Jake Plummer family hell of a handball bash. And when we first started talking about this, Jake Plummer and I, about 5 months ago, he said, you know what, my family does all the work. I don't do anything. I just sit around and enjoy great handball. So I'm going to call this the family handball bash, plus the addition of Rock and Roll Out Roland, the 4-month-old baby boy who's the one that you hear in the background here. He's
Rock and Roland's not doing that much. I haven't seen him carrying many drinks. Or
he's sucking his hand.
Serving one.
Grandfather Steve Plummer, very happy with this addition, and he's carrying Roland all around the courts.
You know, it's amazing, Dave. Each point is an exact replica of the point before. Dave lob serve to the left, Noddy ceiling shot off the back wall, Dave back wall kill.
Serving one.
Let's see if we'll see that formula once again here. It's sort of that 1-2-3 punch. Noddy doesn't go to the ceiling there. Dave with an overhand fist drive. Noddy clearly not moving well right now, Dave.
10, serving one.
We spoke, Dave, off the air for the first time in a couple of years before this match, and I said that the biggest liability for Noddy will be his movement, because if you can't move against Dave, you really don't have any chance.
$11, serving one.
Scores 11-1.
You know, we're seeing most of Noddy Jr.'s arsenal, but his backwall game just incredibly weak right now, and that's really, Dave, the last thing to come back after a long layoff is that back wall for whatever reason.
12, serving one.
For WPH members, this match will be uploaded. You will be able to see the ball on the internet as we upload this feed, not the live feed, but the one that we're recording back home, and then we'll upload it to our server so you can watch the match in its entirety after this is over.
13, serving one.
13-1.
Noddy scoring the first point of this second game with a badly mishit left-hand left corner kill.
Takes that with a left. Look at that fist from Dave Chapman to the back wall.
Amazing shot.
Side out. One, serving 13.
Does not look, Dave, like Noddy will capture his
point.
His second hell of a bash championship, but he has to be pretty happy with this result, Dave. He's made it to the finals after nearly a 2-year layoff. He beat Luis Moreno, who's a top 3 pro. Also beat Andy Nett, who's in the top 15. He's playing the #1 ranked WPH pro right now, Dave Chapman, who's won nearly everything he's entered in the last year.
See Noddy flexing that leg over there.
Dave winning the inaugural Fireball Classic in Tucson in April. That was the debut of the Ektelon Red Fireball, beating Owen Kennedy in the final there.
2, serving 13.
Scores 2-13. There's a crack.
Point.
That's just Noddy's second ace of this match, Dave. Normally at this point in the match, you'd be talking about his 15th or 16th ace,
3,
just number 2.
Serving 13.
And if this was closer, Dave Chapman would have taken an immediate timeout. Wow, look at that right there.
Point.
Redirect. You do that with your left hand, going over to the left side, and I saw you do that also with your right hand. What do you have to do to get that ball to come back? Is it just
4,
topping it?
Serving 13.
A lot of it's loading up that weight on your back foot and pushing into it. Even though it looks like you're off balance, if you're able to get your weight on that back foot, you can create enough momentum and just bury that ball. Dave leaves that ball up, and Noddy's in a great position there. So if you're moving to your right, Dave, you got to get your weight on your right foot, push into that ball. Even though you won't be able to push to your front foot because you're off balance, you're still pushing in off that back
13,
foot.
serving 4.
just over the short line, 13-4.
Hold it!
You're watching the men's finals here. Dave Chapman won the first game 21-12, and he has a substantial lead here in game number 2 as we wipe down the floor here. It's the Jake Plummer Family Hell of a Handball Bash Part 3 and Wph Ektelon Fireball Classic live from the Peak Health and Wellness Center in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Alongside David Fink, my name is Dave Vincent. We have the women's finals coming up between Courtney Pichotte and Tracy Davis right after this. A little later on, it'll be the men's Pro-Am finals. Andy Nett and Skylar Peters. Andy from Winona, Minnesota. Skylar Peters from Montana. They're going to team up and face Spokane's Fred Schoner. He's the AM, and his partner, Fresno's Chip Morales, the #1 seeds, in a few hours from now, a couple hours. It'll be 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. That's going to be an interesting match because Chip Morales, who's the pro of that Pro-Am, although Fred Schoner played like a pro yesterday, had a lot of cramping during his match, and so we'll see how he can warm up and get loose for that finals game. It should be interesting. That'll happen a little later on, so make sure to stay close if you are tuned in to the live webcast. In the meantime, though, it's Dave Chapman and Nate Alvarado in the men's finals.
We see Nate over here wrapping his left calf. Might have a little bit of a cramp there, a little bit of a strain. You know, Dave, when you haven't played tournament handball in a long time, you feel muscles that you didn't know existed, particularly on Sunday morning. Dave, I know you've never played on Sunday morning, but you've still had to get out of bed after playing a couple consolation matches on Saturday, so you know the feeling of that soreness.
I get sore just peeling an orange.
They say that's burning calories. A lot of people, Dave, ask me, how does Dave Chapman do it? Clearly, you look at him, he's not the fittest looking guy that you see in pro sports, but he's got incredible endurance. In fact, Dave was the last man standing in Las Vegas
Okay, Nadi.
in 140-degree heat. Every player in the field
Okay,
wilting.
resuming the score. 13 serving 4.
13 serving 4 here. We see Nadi in here with that left calf
Point.
wrapped. Nadi takes the wrong angle to that ball. That ball was way up. Nadi moved sideways to that ball rather than
serving
diagonal.
4.
14-4 now. Great ceiling shot.
Serving 4.
15-4 now, Dave. Just 6 points from this championship.
Point.
This is a tournament, Dave, that Dave Chapman hasn't had success in the first 2 years, losing in the semifinals both
16,
years.
serving 4.
It appears that he'll add this
Short.
Plummer
Peel.
bash to his
Second.
illustrious resume here. Perfect ceiling shot. Nadi goes with that safe swing. And
Hold it. $16 serving 4. Point.
a nice swing there, Dave, for Nadi, but comes up short.
17 serving 4.
The Chapman Express is rolling through Coeur d'Alene, Dave, and the next stop is Fountain Valley, California. Play starts next
Point.
Thursday, round of 32 action.
18 serving 4.
Dave will be seated #1 in that event. We're not sure the rest of the seeds just yet, Dave, but you have to figure there's a potential rematch, possibly in the round of 8 or the quarterfinals between these two greats. You can really see Dave improving with each match out here, Dave. He hasn't played much four-wall since the Nationals. Nadi hasn't played much handball in nearly 2 years. Nadi still looks incredibly fit, Dave. He's 37 years old. He's got the same body he's had for 20 years.
Short.
Score is 4-18. Nadi lost the first one, 21-12.
Strange serve there from Nadi. Took a lot off of that serve.
Point.
Dave snuck in there and took that Z serve out of the air, but that ball sat up off the right side wall and Nadi flat killed it back down the left.
5, serving 18.
You see how Dave immediately recognizing that ball will come off that left side wall, and he takes it with his right hand and flat
18,
kills it.
Serving 5.
Here's a setup for Dave.
Side out.
We haven't seen Dave taking too many balls out of the air here. He hasn't had that many opportunities, but he hasn't had much success with the balls he has taken out of the air. He's dumped a number of balls
5,
into the ground. I see
18.
a number 3 or 4, which is a lot for him.
Score is 5-18 here in the second game. Very smooth Nadi Alvarado right there.
That's classic Nadi Alvarado. Waited on that ball nicely.
6, serving 18.
Great return there to the ceiling. And Nadi hits a great ceiling shot back into that left corner.
Side
Dave
out.
puts enough of a wrinkle on that ball. Ball just out of Nadi's reach.
18, serving 6. Point.
Nadi doesn't make a play for that ball. That ball did come up off the back
19,
wall.
serving 6.
I think Nadi will be wise to let this match go and focus on next week. There's no sense in overdoing it here, down 19-6, and possibly risking an injury when he's got that big event, Dave, in just a couple of days.
Six, serving 19.
6 serves 19.
Nice stroke on that serve.
Side out.
I think Nadi knows what he needs to work on in the next couple of days before that
19, serving
US Open.
6.
Score is 19-6. Dave Chapman 2 points away from taking another championship. And his first
Side
Plummer
out.
finals.
6, serving 19.
Here's a big setup for Nadi. And he drives that ball straight into the right corner. Actually had most of his success killing the ball here today, Dave, from shoulder height with his right hand.
7, serving 19.
Score is 7-19.
Dave paddles that ball straight back down the left wall and misses a simple shot there.
Now you see Nadi kind of limping a little bit, probably due to that wrap on his left leg.
8, serving 19.
8 serves 19. There's a crack.
Point.
I think if the score was closer here, Dave would call a timeout.
Most likely.
Just off one crack serve.
Well, Nadi scored 4 points in a row here.
9, serving 19.
Dave's a little bit irritated with himself because he missed that simple paddle kill. he'd get some airtime there. And now he just
Side out.
takes himself out of that play. Doesn't even make a move
19,
to that left corner.
Serving 9. Point.
I think Dave is taking, Nadi's taking your advice of let's just cruise on over to the U.S. Open and focus on this leg here. I don't want to strain it. I have another big tournament coming up next week, and though Nadi is a good recovery athlete, athlete, he decided that maybe this is the time to just go ahead and let this one in before he hurts himself. That tournament, it's very hard to play back-to-back tournaments for some players. Others strive on it. How do you play in a real tough weekend of maybe 3 or 4 rounds of ball and then going into another one? Does your body handle that well?
Well, it really depends on just that, on your body. If your body's feeling good, you love to play in back-to-back tournaments because you build that momentum and your game is really sharp heading into that second event. If you're banged up after a tough weekend and then you've got to turn around and play the very next weekend, it can be a big disadvantage.
Serving 9.
This is game and match point for Dave Chapman.
This could do it here. Nadi will just hang back here and let Dave have it.
Point.
And he does.
Game and match.
And there you see it. It's Dave Chapman winning his match versus Nati Alvarado. It's Nadi's comeback after about an 18-month layoff. Coming out here and defeating Dave Chapman, defeating Nati Alvarado by the score of 21-12, 21-9. We're going to have Dave Chapman on the live webcast really quickly here. We're going to set that up for you. We're at the Peak Health and Wellness Center in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, for the Jake Plummer Family Hell of a Handball Bash Part 3 and Wph Ektelon Fireball Classic. There's a great picture of Jake Plummer congratulating Dave Chapman right here, courtside. Jake Plummer really does enjoy the action out here. He enjoys the top players, and he wants everybody to feel comfortable. We are going to get Dave Chapman into the booth here really briefly. I know that Dave is going to have to get on a flight and head out of town, but Dave, you know, really good win there. Congratulations on defeating Nati Alvarado.
Thank you. Is Rod Fink listening, hopefully?
Rodney Fink is, did I call you Dave Fink
No.
instead of Dave Chapman?
No, you didn't.
No, Rodney Fink is definitely at home. He
Good.
has this on the big screen. You know,
As he should.
This is a fun tournament, but you still took it serious, and you went back to the hotel, you iced, and did all the stuff that you do before and after. Let's talk, instead of about Nati in the game and how you play, let's talk about Jake Plummer and this local community. What does it mean when you watch the local guys come up and talk to you, and the hospitality here and all the people that are putting this thing on?
Well, you know, it's such a big event for Coeur d'Alene that they have to cut the entries off. Actually, Jake wanted to cut it off at 80 this year, but he got so many people interested, he cut it off at 100. And if he kept it wide open, he'd probably get 200 entries because everybody wants to come to this event. The hospitality is the best of the year. You've got Jake Plummer, who's very personable, pro athlete that talks to everybody, answers everybody's questions. Extremely nice person, and he holds a first-class event here. People travel from all over the country to come to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho to enjoy the hospitality and the camaraderie. We saw Jake yesterday bringing some Gatorade in for some of the sub-B players that were playing. You know, he's walking by and he walked into the court during a timeout and gave him some Gatorade. I've never, you know, really seen tournament directors do that. And then, you know, you're saying he's an ex-NFL football player and he's going around and, you know, he's driving people to the airport at 3 in the morning and he's picking up food at Costco, and, you know, it's quite a treat to have him here. You are getting ready for
the big U.S. Open next week, and this is a tune-up for you in a lot of ways because you've been the outdoor specialist this year. How hard was it for you to come back into the four-wall court, or were you training all along inside the four-wall court?
No, that's a great question. I actually haven't played four-wall since the Durango camp that we held, the Wph held back at the end of July. So that was the last time I stepped on a four-wall court.
Wow.
So I didn't really have any time to get on a four-wall court because we've had all these three-wall and one-wall events throughout the years. So I've been just playing outdoor for the last 2, almost 3 months with no four-wall play. So when I came back, I was extremely stale. My back wall was bad. My court sense was bad. And it took me a good 2 matches to get back into four-wall shape, and even against Dave Fink, I wasn't 100%, but I seemed to get better after each match, and in the finals, I felt like I played my best.